You clicked on this video because you want quick and easy recipes from grandma that take only 10 minutes, and that is exactly what you will get. These dishes came from a time when families had very little, but creativity in the kitchen made every meal feel warm, filling, and full of heart. Each recipe in this list carries a small piece of America's past, and every one of them can still be made today with simple ingredients that you already have at home. As we move through this video, you will see how grandmothers across the country turned everyday items into comforting meals that brought families together. Some of these recipes saved busy mornings. Some saved long evenings. All of them became traditions that shaped how America cooked for decades. If you skip ahead, you will miss the small details that show how these dishes became part of our food history. So watch closely, because every recipe in this countdown teaches something meaningful, practical, and deeply nostalgic. And if you love rediscovering forgotten American food traditions, make sure you stay with us, because each minute of this video brings another piece of the past back to life. Butter-fried sugar toast. Butter-fried sugar toast was one of the fastest comfort foods grandmothers made when time was short and the pantry was almost empty. It was simple, warm, and incredibly satisfying, and it came together in less than 10 minutes. This dish was more than a quick snack. It was a small moment of sweetness in homes that depended on creativity rather than abundance. The process began with a single slice of day-old bread. Grandmothers never wasted food, so this was the perfect way to revive a piece that had gone slightly stiff. She heated a pan, added a thin layer of butter, and allowed it to melt slowly until the edges began to sizzle. Once the butter spread evenly, she laid the bread flat in the pan, letting it soak up every bit of flavor. As the underside crisped, she sprinkled a light dusting of sugar on top, allowing it to melt just enough to form a glossy coat. When the bread turned golden, she flipped it carefully, giving the sugar a chance to caramelize and create a delicate crunch. The kitchen filled with a familiar smell that signaled comfort, warmth, and a small treat earned after a long day. The result was a buttery, crisp slice with a sweet crackle on top, served hot and eaten immediately. For many families, this was the type of recipe that brought children running to the kitchen. It was fast, affordable, and made with ingredients found in almost every American home. More importantly, it delivered a feeling that modern snacks rarely provide. It was simple joy on a plate. Stay with us, because the next recipe carries just as much history and just as much heart, all made in only 10 minutes. Creamed peas on buttered toast. Creamed peas on buttered toast was a classic mid-century comfort meal that could be prepared in under 10 minutes, yet it carried warmth, simplicity, and satisfaction in every bite. This dish exemplified how grandmothers turned basic pantry staples into nourishing meals that fed entire families with minimal effort. The preparation began with a can of peas, which was poured into a small saucepan over low heat. A splash of milk and a pat of butter were added, and the mixture was stirred gently until it thickened into a smooth, creamy consistency. While the peas cooked, slices of white bread were toasted until golden and crispy, then spread with fragrant butter to create the perfect base for the creamy topping. The combination of buttery toast and warm, velvety peas created a flavor that was both humble and comforting, a simple pleasure that children and adults alike could enjoy. This dish gained popularity during the Great Depression and continued into the 1950s because it required almost no preparation, used ingredients that were almost always available, and provided a filling meal for busy families. Housewives and working parents appreciated its speed, and children loved the mild, creamy taste that felt indulgent despite its simplicity. The dish also demonstrated a practical philosophy: nothing in the kitchen was wasted, and every ingredient had a purpose. Creamed peas on buttered toast is more than a recipe, it is a glimpse into the resourcefulness and ingenuity of past generations. It shows how ordinary ingredients could be transformed into comfort food with minimal time, cost, and effort. In less than 10 minutes, you could recreate a dish that has nourished families for decades and experience a direct connection to mid-century American kitchens. Stay with us, because the next recipe takes convenience and flavor to a whole new level, proving that quick meals can also carry history and heart. Scrambled eggs with evaporated milk. Scrambled eggs with evaporated milk was a mid-century breakfast staple, known for its creamy texture, fast preparation, and budget-friendly ingredients. Grandmothers used this method to make a simple meal feel special, transforming ordinary eggs into a fluffy, rich dish in under 10 minutes. The process began by cracking fresh eggs into a bowl and adding a small amount of evaporated milk. The mixture was whisked thoroughly, ensuring that the eggs incorporated the milk fully. This step created a light, airy texture that ordinary scrambled eggs could not achieve. Once the pan was heated over medium heat, a little butter was melted to coat the surface before pouring in the egg mixture. Gentle stirring was all that was needed to cook the eggs evenly, producing a creamy, soft scramble that held its shape without becoming dry or rubbery. Evaporated milk was a practical choice. It had a longer shelf life than fresh milk, making it available at all times, and it helped stretch the eggs to serve more people. Busy parents relied on this combination to prepare a nourishing breakfast quickly, especially during hectic mornings when time was limited. The eggs were ready to serve in less than 10 minutes, requiring only one pan and minimal cleanup. This dish exemplifies the ingenuity of mid-century American kitchens. It balanced cost, convenience, and taste, proving that simple ingredients could create a meal that felt luxurious despite its affordability. For families, it was not just about eating, it was about gathering around a warm table, starting the day with comfort and care. Stay tuned, because the next recipe continues this theme of speed, resourcefulness, and flavor, bringing another piece of forgotten American culinary history back into your kitchen. Hot dog and baked bean skillet dinner. The hot dog and baked bean skillet dinner was a quick, practical, and comforting meal that became a favorite in mid-century American homes. In under 10 minutes, grandmothers could transform simple ingredients into a hot, satisfying dish that filled hungry families and required minimal effort. To prepare this meal, hot dogs were sliced into bite-sized pieces and placed in a preheated skillet. A can of baked beans was poured over the sizzling meat, and the mixture was stirred just enough to heat the beans and allow the flavors to combine. No measuring was required, and the cooking process took only minutes, making this dish ideal for weeknights, busy parents, or children returning from school. The appeal of this skillet dinner lay in its convenience and affordability. Both hot dogs and canned beans were pantry staples, inexpensive, and long-lasting. Grandmothers could rely on these ingredients to create a hearty, flavorful meal without planning in advance or spending time on complicated preparations. The dish also minimized cleanup, as everything cooked in a single pan, leaving more time for families to gather around the table. This meal represented the practical ingenuity of the era. It demonstrated how resourcefulness and simplicity could deliver not only nourishment but also warmth and satisfaction. The combination of savory, slightly caramelized hot dogs and sweet, rich baked beans created a balance of flavors that became familiar and beloved in homes across the country. Hot dog and baked bean skillet dinner is more than just a quick meal. It is a reminder of how past generations adapted to busy schedules while still creating dishes that brought families together. Its speed, comfort, and accessibility make it a perfect example of the enduring wisdom in simple, fast-cooked meals. Stay with us, because the next recipe turns pantry staples into a playful and delicious snack that children and adults could enjoy in 10 minutes. Ritz Cracker Mini Pizzas. Ritz Cracker Mini Pizzas were a playful, quick, and surprisingly satisfying snack that delighted children and adults alike. In less than 10 minutes, grandmothers could turn simple pantry ingredients into a miniature feast, creating a dish that combined fun, flavor, and convenience. To make these, each Ritz cracker served as a tiny pizza base. A spoonful of tomato sauce was spread over the surface, followed by a sprinkle of grated cheese. The crackers were then placed under a broiler or in a toaster oven just long enough for the cheese to melt and bubble. In minutes, the small crackers transformed into warm, cheesy, bite-sized pizzas with a crisp edge and a gooey center. The charm of this dish was its simplicity. It required no dough, no complicated oven baking, and very little cleanup. Children could help assemble the pizzas, making it a family activity that added an element of fun to the kitchen. Grandmothers valued the ability to feed hungry children quickly, especially after school or between meals, without spending hours preparing a dish. Ritz Cracker mini pizzas also reflected the resourcefulness of past generations. Leftover cheese, canned tomato sauce, and pantry crackers became more than the sum of their parts. They became a snack that could satisfy cravings, teach children about cooking, and create joyful memories around the kitchen table. This dish is a perfect example of how speed, creativity, and accessibility combined to make food that was comforting, practical, and memorable. It demonstrates the mid-century philosophy that great meals do not require complexity, only thoughtfulness and a little imagination. Stay with us, because the next recipe shows how cold, no-cook ingredients could create a refreshing, 10-minute dish that became a staple on summer tables and potlucks across America. Cottage cheese and pineapple salad. Cottage cheese and pineapple salad was a simple, refreshing dish that became a staple in American kitchens from the 1950s through the 1970s. Grandmothers loved it for its ease, speed, and the fact that it required no cooking, making it ideal for hot summer days or unexpected guests. The entire recipe could be assembled in under 10 minutes, offering a cool, nutritious, and visually appealing addition to any meal. To prepare this salad, a scoop of creamy cottage cheese was placed in a small bowl or directly onto a crisp lettuce leaf. Sweet slices of canned pineapple were added on top, creating a bright contrast in both color and flavor. Some families lightly drained the pineapple to prevent excess moisture, ensuring that each serving remained thick and visually appealing. The combination of creamy, slightly tangy cottage cheese with the juicy sweetness of pineapple created a balance that was surprisingly indulgent for a dish so simple. This salad exemplified mid-century practicality. Both ingredients were readily available in most American homes, inexpensive, and could be stored for long periods. Grandmothers valued the ability to provide a nutritious side dish without heating the kitchen or spending extra time in preparation. It was perfect for potlucks, picnics, or weeknight dinners, offering a fresh contrast to heavier dishes and a treat for children and adults alike. Cottage cheese and pineapple salad demonstrates the resourcefulness of the era, transforming ordinary pantry items into a dish that felt special and thoughtful. It also reflects a time when simple, wholesome ingredients were celebrated and prepared with care, even in the busiest households. Stay with us, because the next recipe brings a warm, creamy breakfast to the table, showing how pantry staples like evaporated milk could turn everyday eggs into a luxurious, 10-minute meal. Velveeta quesadillas with hot dogs. Velveeta quesadillas with hot dogs was a quick, satisfying meal that became a weekday favorite in many mid-century American homes. In less than 10 minutes, grandmothers could transform a few pantry staples into a warm, cheesy, protein-rich dish that children and adults could enjoy alike. It exemplified the practical ingenuity of families who valued speed, taste, and affordability. To prepare this meal, a tortilla was laid flat on a heated skillet. Strips of Velveeta cheese were arranged on top, followed by thinly sliced hot dogs. Velveeta was preferred for its smooth melting quality, which created a creamy, uniform texture that ordinary cheese could not match. The tortilla was then folded in half, pressed lightly, and cooked for approximately 5 minutes per side until golden brown and crisp. In a short time, a warm, gooey quesadilla emerged, rich with cheesy indulgence and tender, flavorful hot dog pieces. This dish required minimal effort and equipment, using only one skillet and a handful of ingredients commonly available in pantries and refrigerators. Grandmothers appreciated the efficiency and convenience, especially on busy evenings when families needed nourishment quickly. Children were particularly drawn to the melty cheese and playful combination of flavors, making it a dependable option when appetites were strong and patience was limited. Velveeta quesadillas with hot dogs demonstrates a key philosophy of mid-century kitchens: resourcefulness and speed can coexist with flavor and satisfaction. It transformed simple ingredients into a dish that felt both fun and comforting, creating joyful memories around the table while addressing the practical demands of everyday life. Stay with us, because the next recipe combines creamy American cheese and fresh tomato to create a hot, 10-minute melt that became a quick lunch favorite for families across America. American cheese and tomato open-faced melt, 300 words. The American cheese and tomato open-faced melt was a classic mid-century quick lunch, offering warmth, flavor, and convenience in under 10 minutes. Grandmothers relied on this dish when families needed a hot meal without heating the oven for a large roast, proving that simple ingredients could deliver both satisfaction and comfort. To prepare this dish, a slice of white or wheat bread was laid on a baking sheet or under a broiler. A slice of processed American cheese was placed on top, followed by a fresh tomato slice. The combination of creamy cheese and juicy tomato created an appealing visual contrast and a balanced flavor profile. The open-faced sandwich was then placed under high heat for just a few minutes, allowing the cheese to melt, bubble, and slightly brown at the edges while warming the tomato. In less than 10 minutes, a golden, gooey melt was ready to serve. The appeal of this recipe lay in its simplicity and speed. It required minimal preparation, no extensive cooking skills, and only a few common ingredients. Grandmothers valued the ability to provide a hot, satisfying lunch for children or returning family members in a short amount of time. The broiler's high heat created the perfect texture, crisping the edges of the bread while melting the cheese evenly. This dish exemplified the resourcefulness of mid-century kitchens. It turned inexpensive pantry staples into a comforting meal, teaching that practicality and flavor could coexist. The open-faced melt also introduced children to the joys of simple cooking, encouraging participation in the kitchen while satisfying hunger quickly. Stay with us, because the next recipe transforms basic eggs and crackers into a creamy, savory snack that is ready in 10 minutes or less, capturing the ingenuity and nostalgia of past American kitchens. Egg salad on saltines. Egg salad on saltines was a quintessential mid-century snack and lunch, cherished for its simplicity, speed, and satisfying flavor. In less than 10 minutes, grandmothers could transform a few humble ingredients into a creamy, protein-rich dish that became a reliable favorite in many American homes. To prepare this dish, hard-boiled eggs were peeled and mashed in a small bowl. A spoonful of mayonnaise was added, along with a pinch of salt, and mixed until smooth and creamy. The result was a rich, spreadable mixture that balanced the mild flavor of eggs with the tangy creaminess of the mayonnaise. Each portion was then scooped onto individual saltine crackers, creating a bite-sized, convenient snack or light meal. The appeal of egg salad on saltines lay in its practicality. Both eggs and crackers were inexpensive, widely available, and required minimal preparation. Grandmothers relied on this combination for quick lunches, after-school snacks, or simple picnic dishes. The dish provided protein and sustenance while requiring only one bowl, one spoon, and minimal cleanup, making it ideal for busy households. This simple recipe also captured the ingenuity of mid-century kitchens. It demonstrated how ordinary, everyday ingredients could be transformed into something satisfying and memorable. Children enjoyed the creamy texture and savory taste, while adults appreciated the efficiency and versatility of the dish. Egg salad on saltines was portable, affordable, and adaptable, reflecting a time when practicality and flavor were equally valued. Ultimately, this dish is a reminder that convenience need not sacrifice taste. Its enduring appeal comes from the combination of creamy egg salad and crisp, salty crackers, creating a quick, fulfilling, and nostalgic experience. Stay with us, because the next recipe takes simple bologna and eggs and turns them into a hearty, 10-minute scramble that became a staple breakfast across countless American kitchens. Quick bologna and egg scramble. The quick bologna and egg scramble was a mid-century breakfast favorite, valued for its speed, affordability, and hearty flavor. In less than 10 minutes, grandmothers could create a satisfying meal that fueled busy mornings for families across America, combining pantry staples into a warm, protein-rich dish. To prepare this scramble, a few slices of bologna were diced into small pieces and placed in a heated skillet. The bologna was lightly fried until edges were slightly crispy and a savory aroma filled the kitchen. Eggs were then cracked directly into the skillet and stirred together with the bologna, cooking rapidly into a fluffy, flavorful scramble. The entire process, from start to finish, took under 10 minutes, making it ideal for rushed mornings. The appeal of this dish lay in its simplicity and practicality. Bologna was inexpensive, long-lasting, and easy to store, while eggs were a reliable source of protein available in almost every household. Grandmothers could serve this dish to hungry children, busy adults, or visiting guests without spending time on complex preparation. The one-pan method also minimized cleanup, an essential advantage in mid-century kitchens. This recipe demonstrates the resourcefulness and ingenuity of the era. By combining a processed meat with fresh eggs, families could enjoy a filling, flavorful breakfast that satisfied appetites quickly. The bologna added richness and depth of flavor, while the eggs provided a soft, comforting texture, creating a balance that became a dependable favorite. Quick bologna and egg scramble exemplifies the philosophy that convenience, affordability, and taste can coexist. It remains a nostalgic reminder of mid-century ingenuity, transforming simple ingredients into a satisfying and memorable dish that brought warmth to the breakfast table. And there you have it, 10 quick and easy recipes from Grandma that can be made in just 10 minutes, each one carrying the warmth, creativity, and resourcefulness of past generations. From savory breakfasts to playful snacks and simple desserts, these dishes are more than meals, they are memories, stories, and a glimpse into the kitchens where families found comfort and joy even in the busiest of days. If any of these recipes sparked your nostalgia or inspired you to try them at home, be sure to like this video and share your thoughts in the comments below. Every dish we explore together keeps the spirit of these forgotten recipes alive and reminds us of the simple pleasures that once defined family life. Subscribe to America's Lost Recipes to continue this journey into culinary history, uncover hidden gems from old cookbooks, and bring the flavors of the past back into your modern kitchen. Let's celebrate the legacy of these timeless, 10-minute wonders, because good food is never truly forgotten.